I haven't read the Dune books. I'm not the biggest fan of the Dune movies, the recent ones by Denis Villeneuve, with the exception of maybe the Harkonnen planet. The look of the new Dune movies feels a little bit too generic to me, and the perhaps one might say appropriation of Middle Eastern aesthetics. It's not really doing it for me 100%, but I did, I think, enjoy the second part better than the first. I also just don't like Hans Zimmer music in general. Like, just so far, the story of the Chosen One on his way to madness isn't as engaging right now to me. But as for the TV series that's just released on HBO, which takes place like 10,000 years before the movies, is actually a lot more interesting to me because it focuses on the Bene Gesserit, which are these like nuns / witches who are conspiring to control the levers of power. And I think the premiere episode does a good job of establishing the tone of the show and the stakes. But it's definitely a solid start. You know, it's a lot of table setting, of course. Some critics who've seen maybe a few more episodes are critiquing it because it stays too close to the Game of Thrones formula a bit, which I don't particularly think is entirely a bad thing at this point. But I guess we'll see if the pacing doesn't pick up as much in later episodes. It might get a little bit tedious. But for the moment, you know, I'm in. You know, if Agatha all along was giving us some more fun, witchy vibes, Dune Prophecy may be more appropriate for the moment as we're heading into winter and the world seems to be descending into hell as we speak. I think we could maybe all kind of relate to the idea of witches in the background trying to gain some control in this chaotic world, right? Of course, the witches in the show are a little bit fashy, especially the lead, Valia Harkonnen, you know, who wants complete obedience, and their method of getting power is kind of related to eugenics, you know, trying to manipulate the bloodline of succession to obtain the perfect ruler. I'm assuming some of the younger characters may fight back against the more authoritative Mother Superior. But yeah, you know, but if you're in the mood for perhaps a more serious, somber space witch opera, I think Dune Prophecy ain't a bad time. Hopefully it doesn't lose its way too much. It is only like 6 episodes long. But as for my spoilery thoughts on the first episode, wasn't that big of a fan of the prologue section. I guess they're trying to, you know, do some world building in a reasonable amount of time here, I guess. But I, you know, would have liked to seen this prologue extended to the full episode. You know, some people out there, for example, who didn't like the first season of House of the Dragon because it was split between these two timelines when, you know, Rhaenyra was younger versus when she got older, and there was a big time skip. I actually liked that, you know. I liked how it spent so much time on her younger years. You know, we really get to know her. And I think it would have served this story better too if we did see more of that, including some of these characters, because a lot of these characters, like the Mother Superior character, feels a bit shallow, as well as the witch who is against the idea of manipulating the bloodline or the ascension of the ruler. I can imagine the impact it would have had if our lead, Valia, here killed this character at the end of the episode and we got to get to know this character better. But, you know, they just wanted to get this done quick so they can get to the meat of the show, which is the older versions of these characters. You know, as they're starting to gain a lot of this power by being present in the great families, you know, as truth seers, because that's their thing, right? They can tell whether people are lying or not, and that's how they can manipulate the politics of the greater universe. The princess character is interesting. She's probably gonna be a bit rebellious, I imagine, when she gets to the Bene Gesserit headquarters. The marriage thing is kind of out of Game of Thrones. A lot of this feels, within that vein, which I don't mind so much. Again, this character is kind of like, he's like the Jason Momoa character in the Dune movies, but he's got a little bit more of a villainous edge to him. I think he wants to take down the sisterhood, I imagine. It is nice that we don't have to worry so much about how it really connects to the movies, because it takes place 10,000 years beforehand, so it doesn't need to connect to it in a very specific way. But it is a bit odd that it looks so similar to the movies. You would think that like in 10,000 years things would look drastically different. If an 80s movie looks different than what a movie looks like now, you'd think that in this world it would have a whole different look to it. But I guess the thing about this world is that they've outlawed thinking machines / AI, and they're limiting their use of technology. So I guess the idea is that like society progresses at a slower pace, I guess significantly slower pace when it comes to technology. The sparring scene here, which looks nearly identical to the swords they were using in the movies, and it doesn't bother me too much. Overall, the visuals I think are pretty good. The vision / dream sequence situation here is real nice, looking forward to seeing more of that stuff. Also, the acting is pretty decent. Definitely the, Emily Watson, of course, sticks out as the main Mother Superior here, as well as Olivia Williams as her sister. Ness, the princess, I think she also does a good job. I'm liking how, how the table is being set here, how the pieces are being set. This guy is definitely gonna be an antagonist to the witches coming up, I imagine. The whole ending here is him burning up the little prince boy, and I guess from a distance, the Bene Gesserit character who was, part of the royal family, burning from the inside. Like, where have you seen that before? I haven't really seen that. That's pretty interesting, right? Not quite sure how he got that power. I imagine from that sandworm, maybe, because we do see, I think, when the emperor's like looking at this hologram, it looks like it's the same guy who has the power to burn people. Is there some other force behind the scenes providing this guy with some power or something? What else would I say? Oh yeah, there was this one character. Who is this girl in the background? I imagine it's the sister of the little prince. She kind of like steals a bit of the scene here, with her look here. They gave her a little bit of attention here, especially a little later too, when the hot guy, the brother of there's a lot of hot people in the show actually, when the brother of the princess gives her a look when he's playing his music, just meant to showcase she's a potential love interest, a summer romance or something for this guy. But I wonder if she's gonna be more pivotal later on. It's an interesting thing. I noticed, like, who's that girl? Where's she up to? Anyways, the episode is mostly just a lot of exposition and just table setting to get the ball rolling. I'm not even sure if it's gonna be worth it to do a reaction to every single episode. I guess it depends if y'all want to see me review every episode. I think the professional critics got like 4 episodes to review, so maybe like around then I'll do a mid-season check-in, see how it goes, see how I feel about it. Maybe a wrap-up once the season's over. I think it's going to end like on the winter solstice, so it's going to be a bit until then. I like it. It's not, it's not like super duper amazing must watch at the moment. I like space nuns / witches, so I'm very much interested in where it's gonna go. But yeah, Dune Prophecy. Yeah, no. I guess I hope it does delve deeper into the ethics of what the that Ben Gesserit are up to, and really gives Emily Watson's character someone to challenge her. You know, maybe it'll probably be her sister that really is going to be her biggest challenge, along with some of the younger characters. But as for now, I gotta get going. I'll see you next time. Under the moonlight. Bye bye.